Here we are on another episode of The Dungeon. Dum dum dum.
It's funny how you always it's automatically. So, yes, here we are. Episode 6.
Yes, episode 6. And we're going to continue the conversation that we started last week. And this is an interesting episode because you and I haven't really spoken that much since that last episode, which is not like us.
Yeah, yeah, life sometimes happen.
Yes, it happened.
Happen. And it's happening
Yes, it's happening.
for both of us, but we are coping. Like for me, work-wise for you,
Yeah,
I mean, you're just an inspiration and continue to be. You're strong, Shay.
yeah. Thank you.
You're strong.
Yeah. So, last episode, right? We talked about religious trauma, losing and finding faith. And we had you shared with me something somebody sent to you about how we talked about why people are not Christians, but we didn't talk about why people should be Christians, right?
Yeah,
And I thought that was interesting because at first it was very triggering for me. It was like, didn't you hear I said I'm not a Christian? I'm not going to sell Christianity, you know? But then I really started thinking about it more. And I realized one, there's the compassion piece that needs to come from me because
yeah,
I've been that person before where Christianity was the end all be all for me. And two, I also need to embrace my feelings and my triggers and all of it because I always say the only way out is through, you know?
mm,
So, um, I sat with it. I actually talked about it a little bit on in a Facebook group that I found. And what I realized is this is our platform, you know? And we ain't Christians no more. And so we're not going to be selling Christianity because that's not a product we believe in. Like we don't have um that's not a yeah, that's not a product we believe in. And we used to sell Christianity, right, as
yeah,
missionaries.
yeah.
Um, but we grow and we change and we evolve. And I think it's important to embrace that, right?
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Um, you see, the thing is, like, Christianity, like in the Caribbean, and from my experience, Jamaica, it's like, it's like giving unto you, like, you don't have a choice. Especially
Yeah.
if you're from a household, a Christian household, you understand, you don't have a choice automatically, you
A
understand?
Christian what?
Household,
A household.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Uh-huh.
So, what do you think I said? Also,
I didn't hear it at all.
so,
Also,
household, yeah.
it sounded at first
So,
like old soul. If you're a Christian
household,
old soul, I'm like,
oh,
huh?
yeah. So I thought like something different come to mind, but
Let's stay on subject.
but yeah, you don't have a choice. Your mom, your dad, your grandma, especially if you were raised by your grandma or your
Mm,
grandparent. Sunday, you would have to go to church. Yeah, you don't
mm-hmm,
have a say in it. If you're
mm-hmm,
sick, you go to church. God will heal you. On your way to church or in church. You don't have a say, and then you're brought up with that.
mm-hmm,
With that, you
mm-hmm.
understand? And every household that I can think of, like, have a Bible in it, has a Bible in it.
Yeah,
Those might be growing on the Bible, but there's a Bible in it.
yeah, yeah.
so, so it's like automatic for you. Like you know of God, you know about God, you're not even
Mm,
even those who are not Christians know of God. God love me if there. You understand? It's then it's the presence is there. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And so and so it's not something you can escape. No,
Yeah.
becoming a follower, that is God. That is having a knowledge of God, and God. But
Mm-hmm.
becoming a follower now in the faith, Christianity, that's a whole total different ball game right there.
Yeah.
Because now it's a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just and it's not just you're gonna be judged. You're gonna be like constant. It's like Jesus who described on the Pharisee. People are gonna if you messed up as a human being, because you're a human, and you say you're a Christian, watch out, aren't you a Christian? Did you go to church? Why aren't
Mm.
you in church? I am sick. Hey, you go to church. You're being judged. You're under a microscope
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
And
Like somebody that's listening to this podcast, a listener, he shared with me, he was like, his church has a problem with his job because he usually works on Sundays. And I've heard this so many times, you know? And it's
yeah,
like it meddles into your personal life.
yeah. Even
Yeah.
even even in relationships, like a man and this girl would be together for like 5, 6 years, and she became saved all of a sudden, and she don't want to cook anymore because she has to go to church. You know,
Yeah.
the sexual part now is an issue because, and so I think that in itself is a huge problem.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And so you said earlier, like when you grow and you evolve, you start realizing stuff for yourself, especially if you're a avid reader. You understand?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you're gonna have questions.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have questions, and there's a saying, like even with pastors, do what I say, but not as I do. I mean, that's stupid.
You've heard a pastor say that?
Do what I say, and not as I do. Yeah.
That's
And
crazy. Like I've heard parents say that, but that's insane.
oh, but for parents now, like for parents, they would like be seen and not be heard.
Yeah, that
Like
too. That too.
they
Yeah.
need to be seen but not be heard, and that again it itself is stupid. You
Yeah.
know, because what if your child was molested or something happened, and like the
Mm-hmm.
child want to come to you and speak to you, but you need to be seen and not be heard. Like there's a lot of internalization happening with that child. You understand? And because and
Yeah.
it, it's a totally different thing, but you have a lot of messed up adults because of those sayings, those beliefs back
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
today. You understand? And so with the church now, like there's a scripture I don't remember the passage or the book it's from, but it's where it's saying that you can't question an elder.
Mm-hmm.
And
I don't
even
remember
church,
that one, but yeah, I
yeah,
hear people say that all the time in the church setting.
yeah. And so when you have questions now, even as a young believer and stuff like that, you'd be like, "What? I can't say anything. I can't express and stuff like that."
Mm-hmm.
That in itself is it's just stupid. And then you become like those questions won't go away, and then of course you're gonna act out. You understand? And then you're gonna be deemed as rebellious, and you need prayer. You have demons. Get out! People want to cast out demons. you know. But so it's a challenge for even young people in society today to even become, even have the thought of becoming a Christian. Because what are they gonna be doing with those feelings? That they're growing, they're evolving, they're maturing. Sexual urges, they're gonna see somebody, a girl or a guy who they like. You understand? And how they, if they can't speak to somebody about that, how they, what,
What's
you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think that is also cultural in so many aspects. It's not just the church setting, but I think it's also cultural. Like culturally in the Caribbean, people don't talk about sex enough. They always talk about it, as we would say in Papiamento, double sinti, which is like with references. It's never like this is the penis. It goes into a vagina And the whole thing is not called a vagina. The only hole, there's only one hole that's a vagina, you know? Like
Yeah.
all that stuff, it's not explained. Orgasms aren't explained. None of that is explained. And so that I think it's both cultural and a church thing because we do need to talk about that more.
Yeah. But you know what? I think the onus is on one's self to gain knowledge of these things because like for me, if you ask me for $1 million right now,
Mm-hmm.
I won't be able to give you, you know. Why? Not because I'm mean or anything, because I just don't have $1 million. But
Mm-hmm.
if you ask me for $5, I can give you because I have it to give. So
Yeah.
even information, who are we gonna get those information from? Our parents were brought up with the lack of information themselves. You understand? So we can't expect to get it from our parents. God knows we can't expect to get it from our teachers, guidance counselors, and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that. Like so, who are we gonna get these knowledge from? You can only give what you have.
Yeah. Well, I will say I did get sex ed in school. It wasn't a separate subject, but it was there. Um, but I would say we need to you got to do it for yourself. Like somebody got
Yeah,
to change the course of history. You
yeah,
know, somebody's got to change their legacy. And you're right. And the thing about our generation and the generations that come behind us is we actually have access to information, right? Like the internet has made that possible. Now, I will say my mom did a phenomenal job as well as explaining to me certain things, but it was always from a very biological side of things, you know,
yeah,
like this is what it is. And at the same time, it's not like, oh, this is how you feel. And
yeah.
these feelings, what they mean, and how do you deal with those feelings? It was more so of don't act on those feelings.
But like for, I mean, it's culturally, yeah, it's kind of different. But for me, like, we didn't get taught nothing. We would have to learn life ourselves, man. Like, I learned
Yeah.
life myself. And when I make mistakes, I'm judged. You understand? But as a young kid growing up,
Mhm.
like like glory be to God, like certain stuff extremely I didn't went into. You understand? Because I have sense.
Mhm.
Looking at other people's experience, I can gain knowledge from that also. You understand? But just matters of life, that talk with a dad, that talk with a mom, I love you, like them things that we know, so we are loved by them, but when I hear it, it's not expressed. You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, um, when you messed up though, the anger is expressed. You'll get a boof.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
So it's kind of man.
As for me, same experience. And I would say I'm still healing from some of that stuff, right? Like you called me out recently on owning my worth in regards to the work that I do just for this podcast alone.
Mm.
But you've also talked to me about owning my worth in all the other things that I do in life. Because I once told you I barely work, and you're like, Shadia, you know how much work you do?
Yeah,
But that alone is it stems from all that, right? It's like you do so much work, it's not appreciated as a child, but you do one little mistake and it's a big problem, huge
yeah,
problem. And for me especially, you know me, I'm always on the straight and narrow. I'm
yeah,
always doing my best. I'm always but I didn't learn to value that because it wasn't valued by my parents. But now
yeah,
let's take that a step further. We got transatlantic slavery in our DNA, right?
yeah.
How is parenting that way different than how a slave master would treat the people he or she has enslaved?
It's not. It's not
It's
different.
not.
That's why I said you can only give what you have. Like for years, I resented my dad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I speak to you about this already. Like
Hmm.
in terms of I respect him as a father, but as a human being, I think he was lackadaisical and lazy, and not unambitious, as a man, like unambitious and stuff like that, because I see where he could have done way more for his family and providing and stuff like that. But so, and then I got sick one time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up in the hospital. And he came and he visited me, and he brought stuff for me and stuff like that. And then I started thinking, like, am I being too hard on him? Like, am I judging him too hard? Because he can only love the way he was taught to love. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? And if he wasn't taught any different, that's how he's gonna, he's gonna, he's gonna transmit that love to his kids. You
Yeah.
understand? And so I'm a father now. Like, I have to acknowledge these things and recognize these things and know when to how to tweak. Cause I have a tutorial, I have a book. You understand? I see strength, I see it's good and I see it's bad, and I can, I can, I can add on the good and just
Mm-hmm.
totally eradicate the bad. You
Yeah.
understand? And so I think I was judging him too harshly because he didn't know any better. He didn't know different. He didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I I struggled with that sometimes because it's one on one side is he didn't know, right? Because I have issues. I have a whole bunch of daddy issues myself. Um, but at one side he didn't know, but on the other side it's also like he and I'm talking now both my parents, they really encouraged me to learn, to find information, to grow up, to do all those things. But it comes back to what you say, like say do what as I say and not as I do, because they themselves weren't seekers of information like that, you know? So, but in one way, like as I'm saying this right now, it is their way of breaking the generational curse, or not curse, break or advancing generationally, because I wouldn't say it's a curse specifically, was to make sure that I wasn't that I was more educated and had more information as them, because I can't say they were uneducated because that would be bullshit. They did
Yeah.
have their own version of education and all that stuff. But yeah, so I would say that's a gift still that my parents gave me.
Yeah. And just to answer your question about even how is it different from slavery, like, I mean, some parents are like slave masters, man. Like,
Yeah.
they rule. You understand? And do this, do that. Some people have kids to just do their work for them. Clean the house. Do this. Do that. Do this. Do
Mhm.
that. You understand? Go for this for me. Go get that for me. That's it. You
Yeah.
understand? You don't look at a book to see if you have homework. You don't do nothing.
Mhm.
And so all these, you take a person like that now and put them in a in a religion like Christianity. You understand? What do you
Mm.
get? What do
Mhm.
you get when you have traits of slave? Because submitting to God, it's like submitting to a master. You are like,
Yeah.
you're gonna like, this is it. You don't have to go to church. Like, I have to fast. I have to pray. Like, I'm anemic and I need to eat to build up my iron counts and stuff like that. But it's fasting. You have to fast.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
why what time I have to leave and go and eat stuff. Like, me hungry. Me don't have to be hungry. Me have
And
to
y'all did physical labor too, like in the sun working,
in the sun working
sweating it
while I'm
off.
like, and Jamaica is hot, people. Jamaica is hot.
Not as
There's no
hot as here, but Jamaica is hot.
it's hot, but it's for real. Curacao
Not
is
ex- You know how much rain y'all get compared to here? We only get 22 inches. It's dry. We have cacti everywhere. The trees here are almost desert trees.
you call it cacti or cactus?
Cactus is singular. Cacti
No,
is, yeah,
plural.
plural, yeah.
But that's natural water right there, girl. What you talking about?
Natural water? What do you mean?
Don't you know you can drink the water from it?
Oh, nobody does that here.
No?
No, but we also don't have rivers and stuff, you know.
So how do you get water? Yeah, if you don't, if you get only got 22 inches of rain, how's your water resource,
The
reservoir and stuff like that?
desalination is what we use. We drink ocean water. And
Word?
yeah, and the desalination used to go through heating, so you boil it and you get the evaporation. Now it's reverse osmosis. I think we're at 100% reverse osmosis now. They were like slowly changing it for a while. And so reverse osmosis is high speed through a bunch of filters. But our water
Wow.
good though. It doesn't have that chlorine taste at all. It's like I don't know if it's still the case, but they used to say like we were one of the top countries with the best water.
I mean,
And they bottle it. Like there is a brand of bottled water from here that's made by the water company.
but that's good,
Yeah.
cause we like other countries like that gets water from of rivers and reservoir. They just throw a lot of chlorine in it for real, and
Yeah.
then you can see the chlorine and taste it in the water.
Yeah, yeah, you can.
That can't be good.
But Curaçaoans are very bougie when it comes to water. Like when we go abroad, people buy water. Like we go to the States, it's like they rent a car. This is how you know it's a Curaçaoan. They rent a car, there's a bunch of jugs of water in the car, then that's what they drink at the hotel too.
Man, man.
And
But
me
yeah,
too. But yeah, it wasn't until I got into missions that I started drinking tap water that wasn't from Curacao. Because I couldn't do it otherwise.
tap water in Jamaica is drinkable. I can't say about I can't say about elsewhere.
Yeah, it's better than in the States or
Not
other
by far.
places that I've been, but still, it's not Curacao water, let me tell you that.
Listen, this is not a competition about water. How do I, one of our followers called us out. Many of our followers called us out about staying and court. We don't know how we leave from church. Got like water.
Now we're on the water competition. Okay, let's go back to church. Here's something that I wanted to touch on that you said. You said you talked about believing whatever is giving to you in Christianity. And that's something that I really struggled with because I was I was brought up Christian, but then I went to a very theoretical high school. So we have different degrees of high schools here. Um, and so it's like it was almost university level type of high school. And
Okay.
at first I struggled in high school because I couldn't question things. I didn't learn how to be critical as a Christian, you know?
Yeah.
And then when I started to get better at it, I was struggling with Christianity because I had to just say, okay, I don't understand it, but it is. It's a fact. I don't get it, but it's a fact, you know? And that's how I went about it for a really long time because nobody could give any type of explanations.
Yeah.
A
You
lot of shit don't make sense.
you were taught to believe and have faith. Believe,
Yes.
have
Yes.
faith, have faith, have faith. Like so
And
so 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 where does all these questions come from?
yeah. Yeah. And so I feel like I had a split personality, you know. Generally speaking, I will question things at school. At home, I wasn't allowed to question things either, to an extent. And then at church, I couldn't question things either. So that's interesting, right? Because also and I don't want to talk about this as a statistic, but I can imagine other children struggling with that too, growing up in Christianity, you
So
know?
what did you do? What did you do to ventilate to like get it out? Like
Nothing. I kept it all in. That's why I had to go on a long ass healing journey. Because, you know, and I think music was a really good outlet for me too, but it
yeah,
was mostly only Christian music. And then, yeah, like maybe basketball.
maybe.
Yeah. I think
Definitely,
basketball was an
definitely,
outlet for me, yeah.
definitely.
And I talked a lot to people. That's why I'm good at having conversations because I couldn't have the conversations with my family, nor really at church living here. But I did have a lot of conversations at school. Like we had conversations on religion a lot because there was different Christian and non-Christian denominations in my classes. I had Muslims in my class, and there was a Hindu person in my class at some point too, even though I never really talked too much about them. But it's like too much to them, sorry. But we had those discussions, and that was my outlet. And that's why I say, YWAM was both like a place of oppression, but also a place of liberation for me. And the
Yeah,
oppression never felt oppressing because it was more liberating than the oppression that I experienced at home.
yeah,
So in YWAM, I could have those conversations. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I've had conversations with you when we were in Jamaica. I've had conversation with everybody in YWAM about everything. And
yeah.
that made me start to realize certain things and see them differently. And that's when I got out of it and when I got home, eventually I thought my way out of Christianity, if you would.
I became the Shay you are today. And for me, all right, when you asked the question last week, are you a Christian? I'm like, no.
Hmm.
My phone blew up after that after that recording. Like, okay, so I did not say I didn't believe in God. I just said I'm not a. So you understand? Like, there's a
Yeah, yeah.
difference.
It's a difference. Yeah.
Like people don't. It's like Christianity. The following. It's a following. You
Hmm.
understand? It's a cult. It can be called seen as a cult. People don't come at me. Do your research.
Yeah, yeah.
You understand? Because anything you have to give reverence to or submit to or stuff like that, it have that those traits in it. You understand? So, but
I gotta stop you there though, because you said that a wife needs to submit. So being in a marriage, it's then being in a cult.
it that's why I said uh, let's clarify, right?
Don't marry
So
Andy, you'll get into a cult.
no, no, no. What I'm saying is this.
I'm just
What I'm
teasing.
saying. No, I know, man. But let's clear up that too. You understand what I'm saying is this, right? It depends on what what you're submitting to. You understand? I'm
Yeah.
not telling you to submit to alcoholic like a gambler, womanizer, abuser. No.
Hmm.
You understand? But that's the call, especially in the Christian world. That's the call. That's one of your charges. You understand?
Hmm.
Man, love your
Hmm.
wife. Woman, submit to your husband.
Hmm.
Men are expecting to get love from their wives. You understand? Like you can't. A woman will never love you more than how she loves things.
Yeah.
There's always something new to love with a woman. You understand? But if she submit to you, if she you have a home cooked meal, your clothes are pressed and washed, like those are signs you should look for. If she's attending to your needs and stuff like that. You understand? Not that is a slave. I don't want to tie myself up. but but from the biblical aspect I'm speaking, you understand, the woman were
Yeah.
called to submit. So so and me I clear up that I forget what did I say that shit. What was I speaking of?
You were talking about how Christianity is like a cult because you're called to submit.
Yeah, you understand now. You have cult and you have the occult. The
Yes.
occult is the practice of
Things that are mystics
unnatural.
and
Yeah, mystic
or
unnatural.
hidden. A cult is hidden.
Yeah. You understand? So
Yeah.
it's the play of words, you know.
Mm-hmm.
People get triggered when they hear like a cult and stuff like cult. You understand? Like don't get triggered by it. You understand? If like cultic worship is in the Bible, you understand? Like you have to build an altar, you have to burn incense, you have to do
Mm-hmm.
this, you have to do those are cultic rituals. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? Those are in the Bible, and that's coming from God. You have to enter the holy of holy places backwards, and you have to. Yeah, you understand? Like those
Yeah.
are occultic traits. You understand? So
Hmm.
are occultic traits. Yeah, the occult
Also,
man.
also only the high priest can go into the certain room
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
the
yeah.
veil
The
and
holy
only
of the
once a
holy,
year and stuff like yeah.
the holy of holies. And look, like, all right, let's take a look at this now. Who judges the character of the high priest? He's called by God. People
Mm-hmm.
with like I would have like as the scribes and the Pharisees once said about Christ, isn't that like Jesus, son of Joseph, the carpenter? You understand? Who questioned the character of the high priest? You understand? He's
Mm-hmm.
the only one. He was appointed by a council. Like like
Mm-hmm.
like um um what do you call those people? Like the prophets. You understand?
Yeah,
God
yeah.
told them to speak to, and those are so let's look at Eli. Eli was a prophet.
Mm-hmm.
I understand our high priest. I don't remember. People don't come at me. I'm trying to
He
remember.
was a yeah, prophet, I think. Yeah, he was a
Yeah,
prophet, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So look at even the misuse of his office back then.
Mm-hmm.
That caused
Mm-hmm.
him to lose his life, to die. God broke his neck. His head fell off
Mm-hmm.
because his sons were acting a certain way. You
Yeah.
understand? And he would stood in the gap for them. You
Yeah.
understand? And so he paid a price for that. So you like it. I mean, like religion, bro. Believe me, religion is a messed up thing.
Mm.
You have more messed up people who like if you could like interview or sit down with like 1,000 people, 100 person now, I
Mm-hmm.
promise you that more than half of them was once a believer, a follower,
Mm-hmm. Especially in the Western world.
especially in the Western world. You
Mm-hmm.
understand? So so what makes a person like decide to just have that U-turn, from an avid follower, a, 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 a strong, a firm believer to a person who literally despise even hearing the word Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Something happened.
Something, yeah. Also, I would like to add, because I think when I was a Christian, I thought that I was on the straight and narrow, and that it is very difficult to be a Christian. And so, yeah, it's all the people that aren't Christians, that have heard the word aren't that because it's so much easier not to be a Christian.
Yeah.
And I would say it's actually the opposite for somebody like me because yeah, at some point it was hard growing up, but coming into adulthood and leaving Christianity, that meant leaving basically every single person that I knew. Like, I
And
haven't
everything you
even
were taught.
spoken. Yeah, the reason I haven't spoken to you for a while is because I kind of like left behind everybody that was a Christian. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
I I had nobody during that time. And I was struggling with PTSD, so I literally had nobody. I had it's like, okay, what music do you listen to now? And what way do you think? How do you see things differently? I had to learn to stop judging people, stop judging situations, stop using the Bible as the guiding post for how I see the world. it it wasn't easy. It was really, really hard. And sometimes it still is.
And
But
for
that's
me, it's
that's
the
the
total
truth.
opposite
Yeah.
because I wasn't raised in a Christian household.
Yes.
You understand? And I was already shaped in the iniquity of sex, gambling, especially sex.
You were a gambler?
Of course, like we play Think and Romy, we play dominoes, we play marble, we play we do everything
But
for money.
yeah, I know. But a gambler, like in regards to like big time gambler, losing money, that type of thing.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Oh wow.
I was. It's a
Andy the
norm.
gambler.
No, but listen, those things are a norm.
Yeah.
My dad own a bar, right?
Uh-huh.
He
He
sell
still
rum.
does?
No, he died. No, that's a long time ago, man.
Oh, I didn't even know. My condolences.
That's cool. That's cool. That's good. Thanks. But so I grew up seeing, especially on weekends, people just gambling, drinking rum, smoking. Like
Yeah.
I didn't smoke, and one time my dad said, "You don't smoke, you don't gamble, you don't have a girl. You what kind of man?" I said, "Jesus Christ. That one there said, "Me don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do certain things, so there's something wrong with me." You know what I'm saying? No? And that's why I started even drinking when I start experimenting with it. So I used to take the liquors like from the shop, from the bar, and drink
Uh-huh.
one punch, yeah, just to try and get some little acknowledgement from this man.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't do smoking still. Like I didn't do that.
Have you tried it?
No, never.
Really? I've tried. I've tried to smoke weed.
You try to smoke with the share? You want weed? No, that's not a good combination. What happened?
Okay, so I was in the Netherlands with my cousins. I tried to smoke. They gave it to me. I was like, I planned this, I was like, I'm coming over at the weekend. I want to try it. Make sure you have it. It's legal in the Netherlands too, right? I think it's the
Yeah,
first country that legalized it.
yeah.
And so I I got there. He's like, okay, I'm gonna prepare it for you. He went through like this whole ritual of like preparing the thing. And then I smoked it. I was like, it's not go. They're like, you gotta inhale it. And I'm like, ugh, I don't really like this. And I tried and I tried and I tried. And after a while, I was like, I can't do this. But then I thought I was high.
What made you think that?
I don't know.
Or was it
The
just
fact
you
that
being
I
you? Because
smoked.
you have a natural highness about it. The
Yeah.
many people don't do it.
So I was laughing, laughing, laughing. And I was like, see, I'm high. And my cousin, the cousin that didn't smoke, goes, Shadia, you're not high. Look at
Yeah,
him. And he shows me the other cousin that was like sleeping. Look at him. He's high.
I can picture you being high right now. Just a visualize it in my head. You'd be arrested for something. I don't know what that something is, but you'd be arrested. Or you'd flee for like a month.
I really want to try it though.
Let's
I
do
gotta
let
eat it.
you remember that idea you had about having
Yeah, we need to do a space cake
a space cake party?
party. Yes, we're
Can you
gonna do
explain
that.
what space cake is in
Oh,
Curacao?
I think it's a Dutch thing. It's like a cake with weed in it when you bake it.
We call it edibles.
Yeah, you told me that, but edibles is gummies.
It's edibles. It can be in brownies in cake, you know.
It's a space cake. But anyway, what were we talking about?
But we call
Um,
it
oh,
edibles
you
share. Space cake for you, but
okay,
edibles for us share.
Jamaicans and their edibles. We have different names for different things. And they teach us these things in school too, Space
Yeah,
cake. And yeah, they teach us about all the different drugs.
we should totally do it though. We're gonna have a space cake party.
Yeah. Let us know if you want to be invited. I should put that in a poll on Spotify. Like, do you want to be invited to our space cake party? The dungeon. It's gonna be a dungeon for real. And most of our listeners are Christians or ex-Christians. Like Christians gone wild. Christians gone to space.
Oh, when did Shay become an astronaut? She's she's going to space now.
People dress up like astronauts too. Oh
Yeah,
God.
let's do it. Let's do it. We should do it.
This is what happens when I talk to you. I get tired of just laughing. Okay, going back. Your dad said
Yeah,
you should drink, and you started drinking to be cool and accepted.
and gambling, and that's why I started gambling too.
Okay. Yeah. But you were saying why it was easy for you to come out of Christianity now.
Yeah, yeah, because as I said, I was already shaped in the iniquity of certain stuff.
Mhm.
So it was hard for me, like being in Christian and just being holy and set apart. It's doable,
Mhm.
but it's hard,
Yeah.
because you can't stop your mind. I
Mhm.
mean, I asked a person once asked me, I think something happened, and I told Anne about it when we were married. And she was like, but how can you do that? And I'm like, what do you mean, how can I do that? I'm like, can you? So, and she couldn't see past it. I won't say what happened.
Mhm.
She couldn't see past it. And I was like, okay, I have to go in my wisdom box now and take out some tools. And I'm
Mhm.
like, can you stop a bird from flying over your head? And she was like, no. And I'm like, why can't you stop a bird from flying over your head? And I'm like, okay, because that's their element.
Mhm.
They're in
Mhm.
their element. So if
Yeah.
you're if a person see you in the streets just flinging at birds and running birds that's flying, they're gonna have you as a mad person. Okay? No. Second question, can you stop a bird, that said bird, from building a nest in your head?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Mhm.
Because if someone see you walking around now with a bird nest in your head, they're gonna have you as a mad person. So it's like thoughts. You cannot stop thoughts from going through your mind, but you can stop them from dwelling there. You can stop yourself from dwelling on them. You understand?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
so when I break it down like that to her, she was like, "Okay, cool." I'm like,
Yeah. It's
"It's a
it's
good
the
thing I'm white.
conditioning.
It's the
Yeah.
conditioning." You
Yeah.
understand? And so that's how it was for me in the beginning. You understand? I'm like, I'm a Christian now. I should be cured and healed from every temptation and everything. Voila. No. I'm
Mm-mm.
still thinking about sex. I'm still thinking about partying. I'm still thinking about going to play basketball when I have church on a Sunday. I'm still, every now and then I would blurt out a curse word or something, but it takes time. It's
Yeah.
not an automatic. You understand? And that's what I think leaders and elders and pastors should teach these kids nowadays. You understand? It's not an automatic. You're gonna have these emotions that it's a part of being a human. You
Mhm.
understand? It's how you manage them.
Yeah. And it's not bad to have emotions. It's not bad to um have feelings that you've been conditioned to feel and have, right? It's a habit. It's like it's
Yeah,
hard to break any type of habit because the habit is in our subconscious mind. Um, so it takes time. We need to give ourselves love and grace whenever
yeah,
I would say whenever we're challenging the norm, right? Like as a freedom alchemist, that is what I do professionally. I believe in experiencing more freedom by challenging the norms. And as cool as and amazing as that sounds, one, you never actually know what's on the other side of challenging the norm. You think you're going into freedom, but you don't really know 100%. But two, it is a process to challenge the norms because it's normal for a reason. And usually, when something is normal to you, you're also like surrounded by people where it is normal to them. So, in order to, challenge your norms, whether it is, in religion, financially, wellness,
life, just
fitness,
life.
any type of norm you're trying to
Yeah,
challenge, it takes time and you got to give yourself grace in that process.
yeah, and don't be like you can be the biggest critique of yourself. Like it's like when a person critique you, you can
Hmm.
get past that. But when you critique yourself harshly, you judge yourself harshly. You can't
Mm,
get past that because you're seeing your biggest critique in the mirror every time you stand before one.
yeah, yeah.
And so there has to be a balance. Like you have to accept certain things as, you know what, this is natural, this is the norm. It's like when you spoke the other day about just your subconscious, the conscious versus the subconscious.
Hmm.
You're wired, certain emotions are wired into the subconscious. But you can try to control it, you understand?
Yeah.
It's It's life, man. It's life. You have to life. You have to be lifing.
Mm-hmm.
Even you have to be lifing.
I like
That
it.
you like it?
That
You
should
know,
be
you
our
know,
next shirt.
you
You have to be lifing.
the dungeon. Just be lifing. Yeah. Don't be judged. Like I struggle with that, you know. I struggle with that and I'm not doing it as much as I used to. I used to read a lot, you know.
I know. I saw you. You used to always be on the steps around the 200 blocks sitting with a book.
Yeah, just reading, like just trying to read, and it's not just it don't have to be even Christian literature. You understand?
Yeah.
Like just read. Reading is good. I
Mm-hmm.
understand, and from that I developed the habit of even writing and expressing myself in writing, in poems, in stuff like that. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And so those things are good. Those things are good. Let's do it. I should totally write a book too. No, I'm gonna do a movie.
Yeah, you
I'm
want to do a
straying
movie?
again.
I'm already writing a book.
I'm straying
We're
again. I'm straying again.
32,000 words into my book. I am. You're not in
And
it.
you're and you're
You're
all
you're mentioned in it, but you're not. You're not writing. I
you're
can't
not
give any credit to you.
and the expression on your face, you know. I don't like them. The expression like I'm not you're not in it. Jesus. You're your friendship.
You know what I love about you is that we could just be like this, and nothing gets taken personally at all. Like some people will really find that such a big thing,
Because
You're not
I
in it.
know you, Shay. I know at heart, you're one of the purest human being there is.
Oh,
If it is
thanks.
up to you, no, I mean it, you know. I
Yeah,
always
I
give
know.
love
I
because
know. Thank
you
you for
understand,
saying
say,
that.
this is the thing. You don't understand, you don't give yourself as much credit as you should. It's
True.
one thing coming from me, but you have to look in the mirror and tell yourself that I am loved. I am worthy to give love and receive love. I am brilliant. I am a genius. I am a genius nerd. You're not just a genius, you're a genius nerd. That's a combination that I'm playing. It's like, it's like a little bit of Elon Musk, a little bit of Bill Gates, a little bit of Einstein.
A little bit of Elon in my life, a little bit of Bill by my side, a little bit of Mark. Here I am.
Yeah. And voila, and the world is gonna see it one day now. Thanks to this platform, they're gonna see it. They're gonna see
Yeah,
something
yeah,
already. You know. It's gonna only
yeah,
you can stop you. So no?
yeah. True, true, true. No, but to wrap this up, right?
Mm.
We went through a lot of chatter and a lot of stuff. We don't believe in organized religion. And I think when we said regaining faith, faith to me is believing in things unseen, right? And I do believe that that is part of life. We all have faith regardless. We have faith that we're going to be living enough to continue this podcast. Like I can die tomorrow. I always say that I can die in a second. I can die recording this fucking episode. The fact that I believe that I'm going to be alive to end this episode is faith. Like you
Yeah,
can't be alive without having faith.
yeah.
But faith in regards to religion and in regards to Christianity, that's another thing.
That's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
That's true. Word. Word.
Word. Nothing to add?
You know what? You can't add to a perfect cake.
Word. You can't add to a space cake.
You can't add to a space cake. You're already in space. You don't need an astronaut suit to come to this space. It's-
We
you
the
know,
dungeon. Come as you are.
and so, and so on that note, is this it for episode 6?
It is. It is. As
Is it
I'm
for
looking at Andy wearing the beautiful dungeon shirt.
and it's available now, people. I'm
Yeah, we're
actually
gonna
wearing,
make it available.
I'm
Yeah,
actually
we
wearing,
haven't decided this. Are we deciding this right now? It's gonna be made available. We're sharing the link.
Well, not as yet. For real. Let's talk about it. Let us talk about
We need to have a meeting before we offer this to people, but yes,
but I'm already
it's
having
coming.
requests, a lot of requests. People have been asking me
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. All right, that's
Now
it.
you need to get you one.
Yeah, I need to get one. That's the next step for sure.
Uh,
Yeah. But anyway, thanks for listening. See you in episode 7. Like,
next,
share, subscribe. We love y'all. Bye-bye.
peace out.
A-Town.
H